Trigger warning: mental health and suicide mention. If you or someone you know is struggling, please seek medical advice. If you've ever been suicidal, you may low key have an understanding of this. Something just tells you, throw yourself down that balcony. Do it. Why though? Just do it. Why? Because nobody loves you. You're unworthy. They don't care about you. You're unimportant. Just do it. Then you believe these thoughts in your head. But are they really your thoughts? Because when you take a step back, you will realize, what? I can't believe I was thinking that. Yeah, because they're not your thoughts. You are vibrating on a very low frequency, and because of that, you're attracting people on your similar low frequency. So they are spirits. We refer to them as ghosts. When personalities die and then their souls do not ascend, they're still left around troubled. Maybe they're scared of going to hell because they were religious. Whatever aspect it may be, those souls remain in our physical domain. And because they're vibrating on a very low frequency, they attach themselves to personalities vibrating on a very low frequency. Hello, love. Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Thank you. The concept of the human psyche has always been very intriguing for me ever since I was a small child. To me, the world is a big laboratory, and every single human being I come across is an experiment. The only way to fully understand the human psyche is to include a spiritual perspective. Spirituality is not just something we have, spirituality is who we are, it's where we come from. And that's why we see that some of the best psychologists and psychiatrists of our time have done so well in their fields because they've been able to hone in on the spiritual perspective of the human psyche. Think of the concept of past lives. I know there's a lot of skepticism around this, and believe me, I completely understand, but just keep an open mind. We are souls who incarnate in this physical plane in a body and in a personality. But what happens when we die, though? The soul leaves the body. The body dies, the personality dies, but the soul is elevated and it leaves the body, right? But then the soul comes back to evolve and grow in a different personality. And that's why it's impossible to understand psychology without understanding the concept of past lives. The great Brian Weiss has done this perfectly in his book Many Lives, Many Masters, and we know he has healed millions and millions and millions of people as the head of Department of Psychiatry wherever he is. He has actually done the best job when it comes to this because he understands that we are souls just moving through bodies and personalities. So in this lifetime, I'm a girl. In another lifetime, I'm a man. No, seriously. This is something I have experienced myself. You see, with the five sensory personality that we are, with the five sensory body, it is impossible to even conceive that we have been here in different personalities. And that's why to be able to be in touch with your past lives, you have to get into a deep state of meditation where the conscious mind, the five sensory personality, is not affecting the experiences you're having. I did one of Brian Weiss' past life regression meditation videos. It's here on YouTube. It's barely even 40 minutes long, but he gets you literally in a trance where you're hypnotized and he helps you remember past lives you've been in, past lives your soul has experienced. So for me, it happened that during my meditation, believe it or not, I saw myself in a man's body. Yes, I was in a man's body. I could have passed for white in that lifetime. I had hairy hands and hairy feet, and believe me, it was the worst disillusionment I've ever gone through because I looked down and I could see my body and I was in a man's body. In this lifetime, I had a very beautiful wife. She's literally the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, and a very beautiful child also. but it felt like in that lifetime I wasn't as connected to my daughter and my wife as I would have wanted to be emotionally. I went through all the steps, including how I died in that lifetime and how my soul ascended. I uncovered a lot. The third law of motion in physics states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, that every intention you put across produces an outcome that you experience. Now, this action doesn't necessarily have to be an action that you did in this lifetime. It could be something you did in a past lifetime that is now producing an outcome in this lifetime. For example, in my case, like I said, I was in a man's body, and I had a wife and a child who I wasn't emotionally connected to, and I could see that they were really, really yearning for an emotional connection with me, just as much as I was with them. But I chose not to, or I just didn't. I didn't allow myself to be vulnerable, to be authentic enough to connect with them, and that's why in this lifetime I incarnated in a female's body, and I'm on the other hand of the experience where I am the daughter who does not have an emotionally present father. See how that played out? So, in the past lifetime, I was a father who wasn't emotionally connected to my child, a daughter. And now, in this lifetime, I've incarnated in a female's body, and now I do not have a genuine connection with my father. It's not a coincidence. It's not. I created negative karma. My soul created negative karma in that lifetime that has followed me to this lifetime. And I'm paying my karmic debt in this lifetime. You see that? So, the understanding of past lives can be very integral in understanding how our personalities have been shaped. For example, if in a past life you died out of falling from a balcony building, a really long story building or something, it is possible that in this lifetime you have a chronic fear of heights. For example, if in a past lifetime you were a nun who spoke your truth and then you were burnt at the stake for speaking your truth or called a witchcraft, it makes sense that in this lifetime you will not want to embody your true self, your authentic self, because you're still traumatized. Your soul still carries that trauma of being burnt at the stake. That's why a lot of mental health issues are not just mental issues, they're actually spiritual issues. When we go deeper, we realize that there is a deeper aspect, a formless aspect of who we are as human beings that governs us, that has literally created our personalities, the personalities we move around with, that has created the narratives we experience in our lives. Think about schizophrenia. It's a very intriguing mental health disorder for me, especially because we don't realize how spiritual it is. So, schizophrenia is characterized by hallucinations and delusions. From a psychological perspective, most therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists don't even know the causes of schizophrenia. There is not an exact cause, they are just theories. It could be genetic, it could be this, it could be environmental factors, it could be this. Who knows? But when you think about it spiritually, if a personality incarnates into this lifetime and the personality is filled with fear and doubt, the personality will attract entities, forces that are vibrating on a very low frequency on this vibrational frequency. And that's why they report experiencing hallucinations and delusions. Someone experiencing schizophrenia will say something like, the people, they're telling me I'm not loved. They keep telling me I'm a bad person and I should just end my life. They say that talking about the people. The question is, which people? So when you investigate from a spiritual perspective, you will realize that the imbalance in this personality's energy attracts negative entities into their lives, and that's why they experience these hallucinations and delusions. If you've ever been suicidal, you may low-key have an understanding of this. Something just tells you, throw yourself down that balcony. Do it. Why though? Just do it. Why? because nobody loves you. You're unworthy. They don't care about you. You're unimportant. Just do it. Then you believe these thoughts in your head. But are they really your thoughts? Because when you take a step back, you will realize, what? I can't believe I was thinking that. Yeah, because they're not your thoughts. You are vibrating on a very low frequency, and because of that, you're attracting people on your similar low frequency. So they are spirits. We refer to them as ghosts. When personalities die and then their souls do not ascend, they're still left around troubled. Maybe they're scared of going to hell because they were religious. Whatever aspect it may be, those souls remain in our physical domain. And because they're vibrating on a very low frequency, they attach themselves to personalities vibrating on a very low frequency. When you think about the mental health disorder depression, you'll realize that depression is caused by a stagnation of energy in the seven chakra system. And that's why taking a walk when you're depressed can help you so much. When you think about the mental health disorder anxiety that we have experienced time without number in our generation, you'll realize that it's because anxiety occurs when the solar plexus part of our chakra system is losing a lot of power. And that's why if you're having depression or anxiety or narcissism or sociopathy, whatever your mental health disorder is, the cure is almost always one, meditation. People who struggle with even schizophrenia, whatever mental health disorder it is, when you take the time to be still and meditate, you'll realize that most of those symptoms are tuned down. Even anxiety, take the time to meditate. Put it in your routine. Don't just do it once, then stop. Put it in your routine to meditate and do yoga every day, and you will see a huge difference. Do your chakra work, do your grounding work, balance the energy of your aura, your guiding system, and you will see how much of a difference it makes. The truth is, most psychology departments, most therapists are really trying to heal issues that are mental without understanding that issues are first spiritual, then they become mental. Psychosis, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, all of that comes from spiritual, splintered aspects of ourselves. So I encourage us to really hone into the spiritual aspects of ourselves, because that is where we come from. That is who we are, literally. And if we heal a problem from the spiritual level, then on the physical level, it's almost automatically healed. That's how instantaneous healing happens. Your spiritual self is actually affecting your day to day life each and every day. And if you can take the time to go inward, a lot of the questions you have will be answered. I love you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Mwah. Bye.